Fixing to roll.
Funny, I love how people like don't sleep through anything. He's in that corner about the closet. Put on your shoes right next to his head. Grab a jacket out of the closet right goes in. She's in there, he's just chilling out. On the other side of the bed. Yeah. Well, it was funny because this morning was the first time he ran away like, I don't trust you. Like, yeah. And I was trying to put on his harness. And I missed. And I couldn't get it on. And I was like, how do you get away? So I let him get away. And then I tried to get him and missed again. And then he ran up on the porch. When I went to get him, he ran away from me. And that's where you were at the door. And yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. And then I caught him, and then he still wouldn't really, and I put it on him, and he still was like, well, I want to go play, but I don't trust you. And then whatever, and then we got down there. And I was like, okay, that's what you need, Mom. Let's reestablish that bond, you know? Yeah, like I said, he won't do it for long, and I won't be able to do it for long. It's wonderful.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, okay, so I'm going to take the trash and recycle them.
Yes, please.
And then, what else?
Are you going to come by?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, will it be better 12 or 1?
Either one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll only be an hour. I got one now, but it's really anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, probably closer to 12 if you can, but it doesn't matter. I don't think I'll be gone yet.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
All right, love you.
Love you too, honey. Have a good day.
You too.
Was that your pen?
What's that?
Was that clicking your pen?
Yeah. My,
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought I took that harness off. That's so cool. I love that. Yay.
Almost over this cough. Typical morning. And we'll see how many come up on the scan. We got about 19 minutes. We haven't had a really good pullback in a while, so hopefully we can get some here. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a pretty decent day. We'll see what dividends come to. I'm showing two different. This is called Mosaic within inside Interactive Brokers. Just got to mix it up a little bit so it's not so tiring on the eyes. I know I'm so used to it after 30 years of this, but the switching back and forth between this is the original classic trader workstation, and I mean you can set it up any way you really want to, but I always found it easier just to do it my own way, whatever felt good with me. For Mosaic, it works for me. It's quicker as far as just looking at the charts and where you're actually at within your risk parameters. But I like to get a look what each thing is actually, or each stock is actually doing. What I'm looking for specifically is moves in price, like large moves in price. Not that I actually do anything off it, but it keeps your mind busy. You're like, okay, so this one up here, it's down 88 cents. Look at the chart. You're like, what's it doing? It's like, okay, it bought yesterday. You can see the target price up there. You're like, okay, why is it down? Who cares? BST. You start getting used to doing this, you'll understand. See here, we're going to switch this particular one to, we have a feeling this might be coming down. A feeling is just a feeling. It's when you see price dropping, you want to anticipate where you're going to make your next buy. You don't want to be buying or say, okay, well, I think this is the bottom. We don't know where the bottom is. Nobody does. So I'm going to get rid of this alert off of here. And we're just going to put a buy order in. We know the max shares are 37, so we can go 4, saying 4 before. Come down here, and we'd be buy 4. Let's make sure we're on the right account here. Yep. We want to go at 50.33. Oh, it warned us that you had a stop in there, or a stop in there versus a limit order. So change that to a limit order. If it comes down, hits it this week, today, tomorrow, in the future, who cares? It doesn't matter. We know where we're buying it at. But like switching back and forth between these two, it might be a little hard on you if you're not used to it. But go down here, see how much quicker you can have your charts come up. But it doesn't give me the same feel. And plus, I don't want all this information over on this side. And we can squeeze it in here, where it says financial instrument. We can add to it. Like we could put in, how much we're down. This is actually on the daily. Today it's starting at 21 cents down. So the overall portfolio is down $62 today. You guys can't probably see that, but this is a pretty big screen that I'm working on, so I can't really adjust it to fit it all. But the overall account portfolio has an unrealized loss of $16,600. Now, if you understand the difference between realized and unrealized, you'll be well ahead in the game when it comes to investing. Can't let that bother you. You have to, this is one thing people get so worried about is their unrealized losses. It's not realized unless you sell it. I like to pop back and forth. Keeps your mind active too. We got a big spike here on, now a lot of times I like to look, you see this spread here, 1450 and 1565. This is probably not real, but if it is, hey, great, you know, it's just pounding up. And yeah, we only have 12. That's like just 10% of the max shares. But more than likely, this is going to come back down to where, you know, it closed, which was, well, we're not showing a close for yesterday. Let's see what it says. 1487. So yeah, it's a little bit higher. So we'll see if it actually comes up to that price. I doubt it, but we'll see. MTB or MTD. That's Medtronics, isn't it? Yeah. So we're up to 237 days. I think it was July 1st of 2001. That's when we stopped taking losses. Finally had a really good streak. You know, you'll take a small loss somewhere, but the longer you can go, the bigger your portfolio gets in between those times, and the drawdown is nowhere near as bad because you're so diversified, and you keep your account in line with your account value. Your risk is very important to control. If you can't control your risk, you'll make a mistake, and you'll have a YOLO play, which, you know, really destroys a lot of accounts. And we're not into blowing up people's accounts. We're into growing accounts. We don't want any losses, none. So the only way you can do that is protect yourself by, you know, if you've got $1 million, then yeah, you can go 100% of the max shares, but still, that's not a lot. When you look at the size of the account, you're like, well, shit, I can't make any money like that. And it's like, well, you need to understand the number of occurrences. You need to understand, you know, the strength in numbers. The more of these stocks that you have, and the more spread out you are, the less chance you have of getting hurt. Now, what you decide to buy, that's totally up to you. But, you know, my scans, it's been years of preparation, looking at information, trial and error, lots of different ideas over the years, and all culminated into, you know, a scan that I put together each week, and it hasn't failed me. I have quite a few friends that use it. It's not get rich quick, but I think they're going to try to pull us back a little bit, you know. A little bit, I have no idea what that means. I'm just thinking out loud. You start to get that feeling that if you watch this enough, you start to get a feel for the market. You start to see what's actually happening. Like, nobody can predict a war, or, you know, a massive, you know, weather problem, or something like we had last week, the week before, I can't remember. But when you see oil prices rising, yeah, I don't pay any attention really to what's actually happening. I go by my scans. I go by exactly what I see in front of me. If you listen to the noise, it can lead you in the wrong direction. But there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get those dollars from you and say, hey, come this way. Looks like one we missed here. Get that Fibonacci in there. We got 3. That's a good opportunity right there. So we can, sometimes you miss a few here. Working multiple accounts. These are not the only 3 that I work, so it's hard to keep track of every little thing that goes on, but let's see what we're going to do with this one. 79. Let's write that down, see where that sucker opens. Probably put a trailing stop in on that, and put a alert down here. It's already got an alert in there, 76.43. It came down awful quick. Thomson Reuters. What was that? Let's go trailing stop on this. 3. I'll hold it there until it opens. We have about 6 minutes. That'll be one I'd like to take advantage of. I also put a buy in at that 74.79, 3 shares. Oh. Let's have too many pending orders. Let's take a look at some of these. Which ones can we afford to? Definitely want that one. RSG. Cancel that one out. Put a there we go. That's what I was talking about when you free up some money. You don't always want to have all your eggs in that one basket. I mean, of course you want to $74.79, 3. All right, so that's waiting. We'll wait for it to open, see if we have enough cash in that to hit that trailing stop, as the trailing buy trail as well. Yeah, we're going to open. This might be a down week, which means we'll be doing a lot of buying and maybe a little selling. If you're diversified, you'll see the up and down movement. If you're not diversified, you will not see it. You're just going to follow it down, especially if you're involved in just any blue chip stocks. They just kind of go with what the overall market's doing. So you got all your money in one. I hope you got some cash to go back in so you can get better pricing. You're going to be waiting a long time. They're trapping everybody's money up high. I don't mind buying up high because I don't put a lot into it. I don't risk everything at the top. That would be a big no-no. Or some people like to call it stupid. But, give it 3 minutes. Just want to make sure that I take advantage of this one. If it happens to work out that way. If it pops back up above this, then we'll put an order in that 79.79. Surprised the alert didn't go off. Or maybe it did and I missed it, or I wrote it down and got distracted or whatever. But you got 30, 40 alerts going off. You'll miss one or two here and there. Yeah, we'll just sit tight on this. Ain't much going on right now. Well, like I was saying before, a lot of people like this mosaic, I guess. People I've talked to like it. I mean, it's all personal preference. I mean, if you're going to spend any time at all doing this, you want a decent platform. But for those of you that are just wanting to invest your money, that are working, the best thing you can do is find a discount broker. I mean, you can go through Interactive Brokers, E-Trade, any of these. It's zero commissions. I still pay $1 per trade, but I work that into my trade. So it's not actually costing me anything. It's just part, they're sharing in my expertise. They're getting the value out of their platform to me. The executions on Interactive Broker are probably, I would say second to none, but people argue it all the time because it's either profit driven, money driven. It's like, oh, we got the best platform over here. It's like, look, I've never in 25, 30 years of using Interactive Broker have ever had a problem. I mean, that speaks volumes, and I watch my accounts. And, I have accounts with TD Ameritrade, E-Trade. They keep consolidating. It used to be Capital One, and then it went to E-Trade, and then there's just a bunch out there. Well, let's get busy here. So we just got PLD. You can see there, we just picked it up. So we go through our deal. Wait for it to come up. You can see there, that's where it was bought. That little blue tick, right, or tick to the side. You can see it opened up, and we picked it up. Obviously, that was a trailing stop. That's how we picked that up, because we were trying to get better pricing. And that wasn't on the scan for this week, I don't think. But take a look and see. I don't think it was. I think it was on last week's. So many on this week's. We had 98 on the scan this week versus 34 last week. But anyways, let's get back over here. All right. So now we need to look and see AIZ. Let's write that down. Can't remember if that's on the scan or not, but let's pay attention to one thing at a time. So here what we're looking for, as we know it's 58, is the dividend amount, but that's not for the year. We're looking for the year, right? We'll take that 58. Matter of fact, let's do this. This is one thing I don't like is I need to change all this stuff here. So dividends is what we want in there. All right, so we're going to add that. We're going to take that off. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. That's what we want to see. Okay. Now, remember that try that I was looking at? How did it end up being down and then there's sold? That's crazy. Anyways, concentrate on one thing at a time. So we have PLD. If I can find it again. Okay, there it is. So 232 is our average price. You look up at the top here, average price. You come down to PLD is 106.43. That's what we paid. You can see it right here, right? 106.43 minus the dollar for the trade. So now we're going to add 106.43 plus where's that? 232 plus, and we only have one, so we got to add a dollar. All right, so 109.75. I bump it up 109.80. All right, so we're going to, we need to close, and this is where it gets tricky on this. So I'm going to jump back over here to the classic. PLD, and we want to close it. Just easier to do stuff in this. You have to be focused. You cannot let this stuff, just write the stuff down. You can always come back. What did I say? Yeah, I know. I got to enter a valid price. So 109.80. That's what we're looking to get out of that. 109.80. We're looking to make 232 off of that. All right, so we'll go back to the mosaic, and you can see it's in there. So we can finish off our job here. We'll put our tool on here just to get our 50% retracement. I'm just going to put a alert above it, and we'll see what happens. So on to bigger and better things. So now we can go back over, find our trade. We had a try. That's what we were looking at. I can go back down here and find out what exactly happened. Probably earnings is what happened. Okay. Write that down. Now you see, luckily I didn't put that order in, so we can cancel this now. All right, get it off of there. As we're looking at it, we can see it's bouncing pretty hard. Why it's still red is beyond me. Just something in their algorithm hasn't changed the color yet. So I think, what do we have, 3? Yeah, so it made its profit. So we can get this stuff off of here. All right, we can take this one out because it's no longer valid. Now we go back and we look at our scan, and I can't remember. Was try in here? I doubt it. Just looking at the chart. Yeah, I don't see it. So you just move on to the next one. Mark that off your list. BST. It's real simple. We're just letting the market come to us. We're not forcing anything. So we always want to see what's happening. All right. So we already have a buy limit in there. Let's look at it over. Do we have it in this account? There's BST. This is a quick way to find it too. Okay, so we can put a buy order in. $49.82. And how many do we have on this one? 3. Yep, so we can buy 3. We go back over here to Classic. Just easier to do the orders in here. And buy it at what? BST. $49.82. Oh, we got a stop in there for some reason. Always double check because it'll always change your order. A couple pennies don't really matter when you're talking small amounts, but always look at your order. Make sure your quantities are correct. That's usually where it gets people in trouble when they trade quite frequently, not paying attention to detail. If you do, put your default amounts at 3 or 4 or something, so you don't end up punching in 100, because that's what they like to put your default in, then they catch you. Okay, so no more, only one buy. NBB, that's from yesterday. We can look at this one and look at, this is the account. We're looking for trades. Yeah, trade log. And DLD. Yeah, really only 2 buys, so let's move this back over to Mosaic. We'll follow along. I just inherently like to use the Classic, just easier to do order placement. This little order box up in the top here, it's good for quick. If you already have it in there, you can just buy it immediately. But you'd have to change this over to market order. And it doesn't really give you the option to close something, and I like to either buy it outright or close it outright. I don't like to have like a preset amount in there, because sometimes you end up leaving something on the table. But anyways, we had BST. Now we need to remember, let's see what else I have on here. NTAP. Yeah. Let's check for NTAP. Let's see. Go NTAP. Make sure that's on the scan. Med. Looks like it's going to be a busy day. NTAP. Well, we can trail that puppy. And just sold ADP. end tap in our mind because it's on, but we're not going to put it in just yet. Let's check med. We're getting this big push to the top side, and people are taking the profits before they yank this rug. Let's see. Let me keep this on classic so I don't get myself all wound up here. Okay, EGP. There we go. Starting to get some good movement. EGP. That was a trail, so we know that was on a previous week, maybe. So we come up here, the same thing, 143 plus 316 plus the 1, 147.20. Check. Good to go. Check it on the. All right. Put in our next value, what we want to buy. Now a player. Put an alert in just above. And then that third standard deviation. Okay. All right, what else are we missing? All right, so let's go back to med. See if we can find med on here. WSBC, ADP. So that was a quick in and out. That was obviously it's still in play. So 165.57. Get rid of these. Replace the alert. 65.57. I finally picked up that main that we were looking at earlier in the week. Always like those. T-row. Don't know if that's on the scan or not. don't see it. That was main, yeah, okay. So we want to sell main. It hits that 35, 34, plus 246, plus 34, 38.15. We're going to close it. 38.15. 15. Closes the entire amount. Looks like we sold CTBI. That's over on this one. Okay, so CTBI, let's see. And we know it's not on the scan. Well, double check. Could be. Doubt it, but let's get to look. Oh, there it is. 37.84. Need to get that old one out of there. Put a new one in. 37.84. Now let charts deceive you, because each scale is a little different. Okay, that's still on the scan, so it's still in play. Remember if I say T row, let's check that out. Yeah, it wasn't on the scan, but make sure. I know I don't have it. No. So cross that off the list. Let's go check out WSBC. It looks like it was on. Yep, sure was. 29.78. It's still on for the week. Yeah. Some good action down. Whoa, oil's really tanking. RPM. One in a while. Yeah, that one's not in play. Just an old alert from. All right. So we had two buys, two sells. now that we've got everything taken care of, did we miss any alerts? Oh, AIZ. Let's check that out. I don't think I have it in either one of these accounts. And make sure that it's not on the scan. Nope. AIZ. Yeah. Was not on the scan, but how did it hit that? Interesting. Very strange. Just an old alert. Don't know where it came from, but mid ADP. Oh, let's go back and look at NTAP. And NTAP, which can be on which account? We already have it over here. Yeah. So it's not in play. It's already in play, so we don't worry about it. Just mark it. Always double check. Don't want to have duplicates. Alright, now that all that's out of the way, we can go back over the mosaic. See, it's a pretty hard down day. Just fine. It's just motion. Alright. FAF. So where's that at? I think that's an old one. Let's check it. Yeah, it's an old one. Not worried about it. Old Mickey D's range bound now. Everybody's just looking to take profits off that for dividends. 516. It's the next one, February 26th. Yeah, we'll probably get a move in a couple of days. Was that Friday? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yeah. So dividend pays on Friday. We'll see. See what happens. You probably get a little bit of push up. These are the ones I'm looking for. I like these big pullbacks like this. This is our target area right here, 207.21. You might not get that exact unless you put a limit order in right now for it, but I want to see it come down, hit my alert, give me some idea that it's in the neighborhood. Then I can put my, I don't want to be impacting my excess liquidity too much, by putting orders in way ahead of time. Use the alerts to your advantage. That way you can keep your capital, so get about 15K to put into the market as it comes down. Right now, the heaviest ones seems like they're all in the oil areas. And that's a medical medfast, one of those. I think what medfast is, those let's take a look here and see what it says. It don't matter. They're still paying decent dividends, something like what are they paying? $4.52 a year per share. Per year. Yeah. Not too bad. I'm willing to put some money out there for it. The yield's not very good because the price is so high. That price comes down in half, down here to 140. Yeah, I mean, just whatever the yield is, double it, Got to understand the math. The yield doesn't tell it all, but what you're getting paid does. That 452 is important. So this thing could stop, head right back up. You can see last week, we had that little deal there where we put in 10 and made a quick $9 because that was a mistake. It was only supposed to be 1. 10%. It's important to remember that. But looks like a fairly quick morning. A little bit of action, get everybody. It's like they kind of try to freak everybody out. Get this like a little bit of pressure down and get a bunch of selling. They're just kind of testing it. Let's see how far it'll go. Like this one, I was hoping would continue up, but of course not. It's been around for a long, long time. Good payer. They make 72 cents. Now, it used to be in the $1.20 range a long time ago, but I never sell anything, so I just continue to pull it in. It's already paid for itself, so I mean, why bother? People say, what do you mean it's paid for itself? I said, well, it's made over $3,700 in dividends because it's been in this account for, I don't know, 12, 13 years. It's, paid, if you even that out, it's right at 9%. You calculate that for yourself. It's paid for itself. So you never sell anything. That's the key. If you're forced out, that's a different thing. I've been forced out many times, but I don't invest in companies outside the US anymore for that reason. Philip Morris. Still got some that are moving up. Just can't ever tell, That's why you have to have the strategy of I don't care what the market does. If it goes up, I win. If the market goes down, I win. Market stays the same, I win. Don't get focused on the noise. Don't listen to the hype. It's all about how much money you got. You haven't got a lot. Don't expect to make a lot. But if you understand how not to lose money, you can grow your money. But if you're constantly, if you're leveraging money, yeah, I have no doubt that you can, make money pretty quickly on it. But the other side of that sword is you can lose it just as fast. The easier it is to come by, the easier it is to lose. Works the same way in reverse. The harder it is to come by, the harder it is to lose. Just like knowledge. Once you got it, you ain't ever going to lose it. And you're constantly running around looking for it. You're probably never going to find it because you're trying to get that quick fix. Not like a drug. But boy, there's a bunch of them out there. I can only take so much of it because it's just, yeah, it's just not, it doesn't compute with me anymore. Years ago, I'd watch it for entertainment. Now it's just, you listen to a lot of these guys, it's just a chat room, and they're just talking about whatever, and that's fine. I mean, people need to communicate and do whatever, but I mean, this is your future. This is your money, You want to talk about things, it's like, hey, talk about how not to make mistakes or learn from somebody else, say, yeah, who's lost the most amount of money? You never hear people, yeah, man, I lost $100,000 yesterday. You just know, you don't hear people talking about it, but boy, there's a ton of people out there telling you about how many millions they've made, $100,000 this day and $100,000 that day, and I'm like, where's your proof? Not one have I ever seen produce proof. I'm not saying there's not people making money doing this, but chances of you finding somebody online doing that, there's one guy out there, Brian, can't remember his last name, Brian something. What is he? He's a futures trader, but by all accounts, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, he's supposed to be worth a couple $1 million, or $6-7 million. I don't know, but if you try to trade like him, you'll probably lose like him too. But it's a small percentage of his portfolio. So if you're working with a small portfolio, you can't leverage that kind of money that he's doing. They've tried to make it easier for folks to lose their money. Make those micro futures, and you can use those if you know what you're doing. But I mean, it's so quick, and the risk is too great. I mean, I'd like to be able to do what I'm doing right now, show you guys a little bit of what I'm doing. Maybe you can learn from it. You want to get involved, talk about it. But then, I've got other accounts I have to do. I get off here about 9:30 today because it's pretty slow from this point on. You'll have a few between then and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The cough suppressant here. But yeah, I mean, the only successful people that make money on a consistent basis is going to be all you got to do is look at all your hedge funds. I mean, they're just pulling in massive amounts of dividends. They're telling everybody else, make money doing it this way. If you can do it, do it. Well, I gotta get me some tea. I'll be right back. DGX. Make sure that's on the list. Nope. Nope. It's an old alert. Nothing to worry about. So it's all rules based. We don't say, oh, that looks like an opportunity. It's very boring, very predictive, but I like to win. That means taking no losses. I don't know if you've noticed here, it's been 237 days without a loss. So what that means is, when you look at the top here, the size of this portfolio, this one's only 34, the cost basis is 34,786. It's making 7.65%. So over 237 days. Of course, this fluctuates, right? So just to give you an idea, 7.65%. If that's what it is right now, you know that it's making money. That's not including trade. That continues to grow. So obviously it's going to be more than 7% growth. Another smaller account. This one's at 20, basically 21 at 6.13%. What's this other portfolio at? Have to look it up in the classic. Yeah, 67 at 7.5%. So you get the idea. Constant income. Bigger accounts obviously bring in more money. It's just the nature of the beast. It's when you try to push it is when you start having problems. You start trying to push 10,000 to make 100,000, and that takes leverage. If you don't know what you're doing when it comes to leverage, it's just like rolling dice. Nice thing about Mosaic is it allows you to, adjust a lot of this stuff, so you can look for stuff quickly, either by alphabetically, or you can say, okay, what's down the biggest? Let's take a look at PBT. It's just a pretty low paying stock, pays a dividend amount of 19, which has gone up substantially. 19 cents is not a lot, but it's continually paying, so never get rid of it. Doesn't matter what happens to it, as long as those dividends are paying. I can't add anything to it. But I'll get about 10 minutes. So you can see all these negatives, so a lot of, over here in the news section, just tells you a lot of stuff spiking down. Well, we can figure that one out for ourselves, right? You can see all these orders that we have down here for buys. So we already have them predetermined. We already know, because we have a strategy. We know when we're going to sell these, right? So everything is already baked in. We already know. So this is just constant. Every day we have something. It's kind of rare that you don't have some kind of sell or some kind of buy, unless the market's just completely flat. There's always something going on. Is it Kramer? Like there's always a bull market somewhere. There's a lot of truth in that statement. And a lot of the other stuff, it's just hype that he talks about. I hadn't watched Kramer in years. The only time I ever see him is some news feed or something comes across. Or he's touting something. Yeah, some of this stuff just moves for oddball reasons. Sold that. McGee. That was bought yesterday at the 50% mark. Isn't that interesting? Like, see how these all come down here? And boom, it hits it. You think it's just okay. ADI. Go over to this account. Get it on the chart and see where it came down to. So we want to, that was a trailing order. So now we want to put in closing order in 156.55 plus 276. It's only one, so I add $1. So 160.35. Go back to the chart. There are 50% retracement, so we know where our next order would be. This is the cycle. It doesn't have to be exact, obviously. But now I can annotate. We can find it. Don't see it. We won't worry about it right now. Yeah, so we got Maine, WSC. We already had 3 sells this morning. So I'll look at the occurrences. Right, everybody's always focused on this number here. It's like, oh, it's only $4. It's like, you realize what 1,000 of those are? Then you start getting up into 100,000 mark. You're doubling this amount times by 1,000. Now, if you're only doing 1,000 occurrences, each dividend payment is an occurrence. That's a dividend payment for the entire year. That's 4 dividend payments in one. I don't know what more I can say, but eventually you figure it out. KRC still moving. We got about 5 minutes left. We'll see what else happens. A little bit more lively day than it was yesterday. Like I say, I got other stuff to do. Looking after a puppy. It's always fun. He's actually asleep right now, which is great. Normally he's right under my feet. Take a look and see what Try is doing. Things all over the place. But yep. If you never lose, there's only one other thing you can be doing: winning. It's a lot better feeling. You end up with a positive attitude. You make better decisions. You're constantly bringing in more money to grow your account. Please be patient. You can be patient. It will come to you. I'm not adding any money to these accounts because these are for, educational purposes. When you look at these, you'll be able to see how they grow in relation to one another if you follow for any amount of time. If you don't believe it, just watch it. You get a better idea of how to manage your own money. Realize that once you're actually in the market, you're part of the market, and you feed off of it. Don't let it feed off of you. All right, well, that's pretty much it for this morning's edition. A little bit of action. Uh, seen heavier mornings, but not too bad. Doesn't look like a total drop in the market, but we'll be back on around between 2 and 2:30, and see what happens through the rest of the day. Got other stuff to do, so hopefully you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.